welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my October wrap-up. I read a total of 22 books in October. 5 of them were physical books and the rest were ebooks that I read on my Kindle. I had a pretty good reading month, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the wrap-up. The first book I read was Nadines Champion by Ruby Dixon. This is book 8 in the Ice Home series, which is a spin-off of the Ice Planet Barbarian series. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. It was another alien, sci-fi, paranormal, erotic romance. I really liked it. It was fun. It was a good read. Then I went ahead and read A Brother's Honor by Brenda Jackson. I actually have a whole video about this book because it is a Passionflix adaptation. I read and reviewed the book as well as the adaptation, so I'm going to link that video down below if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this book. But I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I just didn't really care about the characters or the romance. Like, it wasn't anything super special in my opinion, and I enjoyed the adaptation more than I enjoyed the book. But this follows Jace, whose grandfather has passed away, and he inherits his grandfather's company, and there's a lot of trouble with the company, so they need help bringing the company back to life, and that's where our female character comes in. She's kind of a fixer, and so she helps them fix their company. They fall in love. If you want me to go more into detail about it, I will link my review, as I said, down below. Then I read The Amendment by Melanie Moreland. This is technically book 2 in the Contract series. I think there are like a couple of novellas, but this is book 2. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. It was a pretty emotional read. I don't want to say much about this book because it is technically book 2, but The Contract, the first book, follows Richard and Katie, who have a fake relationship because he needs to impress some of his bosses, and she's also his assistant as well. But yeah, I really like the second book. I do wish I would have reread the first book before I read this one, just to kind of refresh my memory and everything, but regardless, I still really loved this, and it was, as I said, pretty emotional, and it was also nice to see how Richard and Katie's life is after the first book, I guess. Then I read Getting Played by Emma Chase. This is book 2 in the Getting Some series, companion series, and I gave this 3 stars. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I wasn't a huge fan of the characters. I just found it to be a really like basic romance, I guess. This follows Dean and Lainey, who kind of have a summer fling. They both go their separate ways, and Lainey moves to a new town, and her son is going to this new school, and turns out Dean is one of her new kids' teachers, and if it doesn't make it even more awkward, she is pregnant with his child. So this is a accidental surprise pregnancy romance. I liked it, but nothing super special in my opinion. Then I read Love on Lexington Avenue by Lauren Lane. This is book 2 in the Central Park Pact series, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I liked it way more than the first book. This follows Claire's story. She is still kind of getting over her husband's death and still kind of mourning him, and also trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life, kind of, and she has decided to renovate her house. Then comes in our male character, Scott. Yeah, Scott, who is a contractor, and he kind of does her house, and it's super cute. I really loved it. I loved the banter between Claire and Scott, and I just overall liked their relationship, and I just thought it was a really cute read and so much better than the first book. I definitely liked Claire more than I liked Naomi, and I'm so excited for the third book. Then I read The Burning Shadow by Jennifer Armentrout. This is book 2 in the Origins series, which is a spin-off of the Lux series. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really like this as well. This is a YA paranormal romance featuring aliens. This was a fantastic second book in the series. I'm so excited to see where the story goes next. And I just love reading about Luke and Evie and them dealing with everything that's going on. I also really loved seeing a little bit of Damon and Katie in here. That was really nice. Overall, it was a really good sequel. Then I read Dreams of 18 by Saffron A. Kent, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is a age gap forbidden romance. It follows a girl who is essentially in love with her best friend's dad, and she kind of acts on it on her 18th birthday. It then kind of explodes her whole life. I can't pinpoint exactly why I didn't love this book that much. I just think like it didn't really stand out to me. I'm literally gonna say the same thing for every book that I give 3 stars. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think I liked the characters that much. And I also just feel like they didn't really have a relationship, if that makes sense. Like, you didn't get to see them actually have a relationship. It was just kind of the entire book. They were like trying to hide their feelings, but also not. And it was just like a lot of back and forth, I think. And that's maybe what I didn't love that much. I don't know, it was a decent read. Then I read Well Met by Jen DeLuca, and this I gave 4 to 5 stars. This was really, really cute. This follows Emily, who moves to the small town to help her sister, who was in a car accident, I do believe. And so she's helping her sister out and her niece. During the summer, this small town has a Renaissance fair. Her and her niece sign up for the fair, and she meets our male character, Simon, who is all about the Renaissance fair. Like, it is in his family, and he helps set it up every year. He's super passionate about it. And him and Emily don't have necessarily the best meeting situation. They don't meet on good terms. It's kind of a little bit of hate to love. Super cute and super fun. I really like the characters, and I love the whole like Renaissance fair. Like, you definitely felt the atmosphere. Like, the author did a really great job of describing things, so you definitely felt like you were there, kind of. And I definitely loved the whole small town vibe to it. It was just overall a really, really good romance, and I can't wait for the next one. Then I read Tingle by Adriana Locke. This is book 2 in the Dogwood Lane trilogy. This I gave 3 to 5 stars. I think I talked about this in my end of year book tag, how I had started this and was in the middle of it. I finally finished it, and as I said, I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I didn't really love the male character, to be honest. This one was just not it. But I am excited for the 3rd book that comes out in February, I do believe. So this follows Haley, who believes in romance. She's kind of a huge, hopeless romantic, I guess. She meets Trevor, who's new in town, and he is building a new house. And he is the complete opposite of Haley in the fact that he doesn't really believe in romance and true love, and he's kind of a bit of a player, and he kind of sets his eyes on Haley, and she's not really into a fling. Like, she wants a serious relationship, and so it's kind of them denying their attraction and all of that jazz. I just wasn't a big fan of this one. Then I binged 3 books in a series, and that is the Manhand series by Serena Bowen and Tanya Eby. Is it Eby? I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her last name. So I read the first book, Manhands. I gave it 4 to 5 stars. I really liked it. I have been meaning to read this book since it came out, and I kept putting it off, and for some reason I decided to finally read it, and it was amazing. I really loved it. Literally, it was like almost a 5-star. I actually really liked it. So this is a comedy romance. It's super funny. It's super cute, and just like, I definitely laughed a few times out loud. So this follows Bryn, who is getting over her divorce, and she just wants to kind of move on and focus on her work, which is like a food blog. And her friends kind of convince her to go to this party, and she ends up seeing her ex with this new chick, and she kind of goes a little crazy, and she jumps at the first man that she sees, who is Tom, and the story takes off from there. Super funny, super cute. I just really loved it, and I highly recommend it if you want a really light and fun read. Then I read Man Card, which is book 2. This I also gave 4 to 5 stars. This one is definitely hate to love. It follows 2 realtors who are always trying to up one another, and again, another funny, cute read. Then I read Boy Toy, which is book 3, and this one I gave 3 to 5 stars. I wasn't a huge fan of this one. This is an age gap romance where the man is younger than the woman. It was cute, and I did like the male character. I just don't think I liked Sadie that much. So this follows Sadie, who is now a single mom to twins, and she brings her kids to this daycare, and that's where she runs into Liam, who she actually used to babysit when they were both younger. They kind of start a relationship. It was cute. Again, I just wasn't a huge fan of the female character. Then I read Down Too Deep by Gia Daniels. This is book 4 in the Dirty Deeds series. This I gave 4 to 5 stars. I really loved this. This is about 2 single parents. Our male character Nathan is still kind of dealing with the death of his wife after 2 years. He has kind of given his daughter to his parents to help raise her because he's just incapable of doing so, but his parents finally had enough and basically said that he has to grow up and raise his own daughter. Our female character, Jenna, moves to this town and she is a mom of twins, and so she's kind of busy raising her own kids. Jenna sees that Nathan is really struggling to raise his daughter, so she kind of steps in and offers to help babysit and help take care of her during the day while he's at work. And it's super cute. I really loved this. Definitely my favorite out of the whole series. It was just really adorable. Then I read The Royal Rogue by Karina Halley. This is book 4 in the Nordic Royals series. This I gave 4 to 5 stars. I really liked this. So this follows Stella, who is, I guess, the princess, and she is a single mom, and her brother, the king, is on a vacation, or like he leaves, and so she is kind of in charge. And that's when some royals from Monaco decide to visit, and we meet Prince Orlando, who doesn't have the best reputation, and he kind of tempts Stella to step out of her comfort zone a little bit. They kind of start having a small, quick affair. She ends up pregnant, and Orlando is trying to decide what his future is going to look like, and now he has a kid that he has to help raise, and it's super cute. I really liked it. I loved the characters. I loved the romance. It was another solid royal romance. Then I read Tacker by Sawyer Bennett. This is book 5 in the Arizona Vengeance series. I received an arc of this from the author. This I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but I wasn't fully in love with it. I believe this is already out, by the way, if you want to purchase your own copy. So this follows Tacker, who is still grieving over the death of his fiance, where she died in a plane crash that he drove the plane. And he's still kind of dealing with that. He is still super angry, and he essentially drove drunk, and the owner of the team basically gives him an ultimatum that he needs to go into therapy or he will no longer be on the team. He's a hockey player, by the way, if I didn't say that. He decides to go to therapy, and our female character is his therapist, and she does therapy with like horses and stuff, and they kind of fall in love. It is cute, and I did like the romance. I just don't think like I fully believed that they were like really into each other. And I think this one was a little bit more like emotional and emotionally heavy compared to the other books in the series. I don't know, it was alright. I didn't love it, but it was still a good read. Then I read Moonlighter by Serena Bowen. This is book 1 in the Company series, and this is a spin-off of the Brooklyn Bruisers series. This I also gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. This again is kind of a hockey romance. This follows Eric, who is on his summer break, and his family owns this super secretive security company, and basically his family wants him to join the business for the summer and to help protect our female character Alex from her crazy ex and other threats to her company, because she owns like a tech company or something. I can't exactly remember. And Alex is supposed to go on this trip in Hawaii, so Eric essentially has to pretend that he's her boyfriend. It's a fake dating hockey romance. It is super cute. I just wasn't fully in love with the characters or the romance. Then I read Infatuation by Aurora Rose Reynolds. This is book 4 in the Underground Kings series. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. She also co-wrote this with Rochelle Page, by the way. This definitely is so much like her old books. It's very insta-love, it's very quick, it's very to the point, very sweet. It's basically about this guy who becomes infatuated with his new neighbor. It is cute, but just know that like it's a little over the top and dramatic, and definitely reminds me of a lot of Aurora's older stuff. Then I binged an entire series, and that is the Nikolaj series by Shandy Boys. It's a dark mafia romance series. All 4 books follow Nikolaj and Justine and their romance. So the first book, A Mafia Prince, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Taking Back What's Mine, I gave 3 out of 5 stars. What's Left of Me, I gave 3 out of 5 stars. And the 4th book, Mine to Protect, I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. I definitely liked book 1 more than the rest of the books in the series. I just kind of wanted to keep reading to see how the series went on. I definitely was invested in the characters' stories and their plot. I don't know, there just wasn't something that I fully loved about it. I think it was maybe the writing style I wasn't a huge fan of, but the first book, A Mafia Prince, follows Nikolaj, who is a mafia prince, and he essentially gets caught up in something, which then leads him to our female character, Justine, who is a first-year defense attorney. He kind of taunts her a little bit, and there's definitely an attraction there, but it's kind of forbidden. I definitely liked book 1 more than the rest of the books. I don't know, I thought it was a solid mafia romance. And the last book I read in October was The Italian by T.L. Swan. This I gave 4 to 5 stars. This is somewhat of a dark romance. This follows Olivia, who goes to Italy for a vacation to kind of find herself. She ends up meeting this beautiful Italian man named Enrico, and they kind of spend a couple of days together, and essentially they fall in love. And then they had plans to meet up again, and things didn't go to plan. Now, 2 years later, they bump into each other again, and Enrico is not the man that Olivia remembers. He's completely different. It is a very intense, long book. This book is like 500 pages, I think. It was really long. It was very intense, but I definitely kept reading. Like, I needed to know what happened. I was definitely into the story, into the characters, and it was a solid dark romance. You don't really think it's a dark romance because it starts off like any other contemporary, but then it definitely goes in a darker direction, and I just really loved it. I thought it was a solid dark romance, and I highly recommend it. It was really good, and I definitely want to check out the next book. I don't exactly know what the next book is going to entail, but I do want to read that because I'm definitely curious to see where the story goes with those other characters. So that was it that I read in October. Let me know how many books you read in October and which one was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!